Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. Lots to talk about in this video. I'm going to do a bit of a comparison with the Black Series variation of this. I'm so glad that they did this figure in the vintage collection. I've been asking for it for a long time. Some good things to talk about and a couple of gripes I have with this. I've also brought through this amazing speeder, which I've had parked for some time now on my Tatooine shelf. And obviously, it's not Anakin's speeder, it's one he used, but it's the Lars Homestead speeder. So that's where I have this parked on my shelf with Baru and Owen. But yeah, let's talk about the card back firstly. I'm pleased they went for an image with a saber lit. That's what I always wanted. I actually imagined way back in 2018 when I put this on my so-called vintage collection wish list, I wanted an image of Anakin with a lit saber, and one of my favorite moments is when he, you don't see much, but he's on the start of a murderous rampage, if you want to call it that. He just goes a bit wild in the Tusken camp, and you see that James Dean edge that George Lucas talked about, which is why he hired Hayden Christensen. He said he wanted somebody with kind of a James Dean maniacal edge. And that's what he has. He has a good pout, doesn't he, Hayden Christensen? He's much better in Revenge of the Sith, though, but I liked him in Attack of the Clones as well, except for a few scenes. Why couldn't I save her? But anyway, this is not a critique of his acting. So the figure is a little bit of a disappointment in the face, because I'll show you why. This figure here, this one in the Black Series, and they did two variations. This is the second one, and I thought they did such a good job with this figure. They kind of nailed it then. The first issue of it, he had browner hair, and he didn't look as much like Hayden as this figure did. This is the second release. I don't know what the time scale was between the two, but they obviously updated something, and depends on how the light's catching it. I just thought they nailed the Hayden pout there. Look at that. But look at that. But then we come to this figure here, and I had a really difficult decision just now. I opened this one, but these two figures, right, were so different in themselves. I'm going to very quickly put them side by side. Look at this one. Now that one I think looks like a better figure. You might not be able to see any difference because we're all different and we see different things, but in the bubble, this one, yeah, I can see it now. It didn't look as good. Please let me know in the comments if you think I'm talking absolute crap and you think they're identical, but they're not. And you know that. If you're a TVC collector, you'll know that there are such differences between. Several figures can look different unless they're wearing a Mandalorian mask. Human likenesses can differ. The reason I opened that one is because it had a little bit of damage on the box, so I opened that one. But anyway, but it's still a good figure. But it looks to me, right, that they have gone more with the facial sculpt that existed on the first issue of the Black Series. In fact, I'm going to go and get him. Bear with me. Yeah, I'm really glad I just did that then. I went through. Look at that. That is the first issue of the Black Series. Orange Card Lion, Anakin, Padawan. And there's no question that they've gone forward with whatever this mold was. Look at it, even the tones of the hair are the same. This was a really brown hair Anakin. That's equally brown, although that might be a little bit lighter. But this one was a different kettle of fish altogether. Completely different sculpt. And that's more like Hayden, and it was more sandy hair as well, which is right because he's kind of blonde, isn't he? I'm really disappointed that they've not just given us a complete definitive, considering the good work they've done with the likes of Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, and getting that likeness right, which was really difficult for Hasbro to do. That this figure that we're looking at here now should be just immense and kick-ass, and it's so disappointing. I still like the figure a lot, and I've brought this through because I want to find a home for this figure here. This one here. This is, I'm getting, hope you're not getting too confused. This is the VC244, the new one. And I figured that because he's wearing his cloak, his cape, and I've obviously, you know, he came out the packaging looking like that. He's got two strands, which is like almost like a tip of the hat to the first, like kind of one of the first articulated figures of Anakin to ever be made. I really can't be bothered going and getting it, but it was, oh, sod it, I'm going to go and get it, bear with me. Here he is. He might be a bit dusty, but this is an Anakin. I remember buying this and then opening it and being amazed at how articulated it was. It was kind of like around the time this figure existed. All the figures were like statues. You couldn't do much with the articulation, but this guy you could. I have him on a shelf now fighting Ventress. Fighting Asajj Ventress, and I have him facing that way just because the figure looks so nice. The sculpting of that robe is so nice that I have him like force pushing Ventress to recreate that battle on Yavin that they had. But the figure here, if you notice these two strands there of his robe, they've kind of done that with this, which is nice. But I like them kind of going backwards, really. But it's nice, this figure. It's just, it's good to have a proper soft goods cape variation of the well, Jedi Padawan Anakin. And this figure here, the cape that I've put on this is an old Jedi one of Obi-Wan's, I think. So it never came with a robe, that one, but still. And that's a bit kind of oversized, that robe. What's this one like, the robe on the head of this? Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just sort of like getting to grips with this figure. And I'm going to mount my camera. Let's get that hood up. That could work, but usually, you know, I'm going to have him on the speeder. The hood's... Oh, damn it. Look what I've done, ladies and gentlemen. I've puffed it out. It's going to be sitting up now. They need to start putting wire meshes in these hoods, don't you think, ladies and gentlemen? Still a nice figure, that. Right, I'm actually really tempted to get rid of this lightsaber. Oh! Speaking of the lightsaber, really disappointed in that. I don't sound negative, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm thrilled that they've, number one, given us an Anakin Padawan, or Padawan Anakin from Attack of the Clones, and they've given it on a half-decent card, but and the figure's good as well, but I'm not happy with things like this. This lightsaber is really cheaply done, that. Part of me likes the new approach for the lightsabers. They're going for this solid beam, just like it was in the Power of the Force 2 and Phantom Menace line, and even Power of the Jedi line. They've got rid of the flare that they used to have. Let me find this one again. These were better. See the hilt? Lots of nice detail on the hilt. Whereas this one here, I think it's going to be shorter as well. I bet you any money it is. Yes, it is. They're saving money with a little bit of saving plastic on the saber. Look at the paint application as well. It's blurry. So that's not very good, is it? That's a way, look at that. Way better. They made tons of these for different figures, for Luke's and for Anakin's across the board. But nice card back. Great logo for Attack of the Clones. Got that Empire Strikes Back vibe going on. And there is the figure in the bubble, and you can see, I think that is a better facial sculpt, that, than the one I've opened, which is a little bit sad. You get the mechanical hand as well, which is nice to have that option. I think the only figure I've got with a mechanical hand is this one. He even needs you can see the blue tack on his hand there as well. I've chosen to kind of just go with a pre-hand chop or arm chop Anakin on all my displays. But I might change that at some point and experiment. But this is nice, this hilt, because that's the one before he, you know, the Obi-Wan's going to kill me in the droid factory when he wrecks it. That hilt there is just a mirror image of Darth Vader's hilt. Then his hilt number 2 was like this, which is obviously the one that Luke acquired, which is lovely. That, you can't beat that. It's a classic. But I might just mix things up, ladies and gentlemen, when I get back to my my loose room and have one of these 2 figures that I have now, or 3 of them. Oh, well, that one's definitely from the arena, so he hadn't lost his hand there, because I've obviously got the green saber there. Got this one, which I'm probably going to have on the bike, which is pre-arm hands chop or arm chop, whatever as well. This one I might mess around and have him on my Clone Wars shelf with a mechanical hand. But that hilt there I got from a Darth Vader, actually. That was a spare hilt from I think it was the VOTC Vader. And I put it on there because it was quite appropriate. But see, it's got a black tipped hilt. I might take that off, actually, because it isn't entirely accurate. So let's mount him on this. I think I'm going to put his hilt on him because that would be screen accurate and appropriate to do that. Let's mount him on this bike. Oh, that was a hard work, ladies and gentlemen, to get him articulated in the right way so he holds onto the handlebars and blah de blah. As you'll notice, I can't quite get his leg onto the peg hole. I thought it was more appropriate or better to just get him holding the handlebars. So there you are. I've got it there now. And I'm going to go handheld for that and get some shots of him. But you've got to get this bike. This figure goes really well with it. I think my favourite one and the best one for my shelves in terms of posing and looking like him, looking mean and badass, I'm going to have him standing with Obi-Wan like I always do, is this one here, the Black Series one. So if you can get hold of that one, do. I think that's better facially. But this is still a good figure. And for your carded collection, it's a plus as well, you know. That's where he's going to go, next to 31. But there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Not bad. It's not too bad. The figure is all right as well. As in, I was a bit concerned that the one I opened wasn't as good as the one I kept carded. But, yeah, not much in it. Oh! Yeah, as David Brent says, bit annoying. I'll have to put him back on again, but there you go. Tell you what, I'll put him on the turntable like that. So you can have a look at this. Off he goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Anakin Skywalker 244, VC244. Not a bad figure. Look at this angle here as well. That's perfect. And as you can see the sculpt is exactly the same on the back. It's pretty much a reissue of that figure, you know. So there he is. You can just hear the music, can't you? Duel of the Fates. I love that scene when he's racing across the sands of Tatooine, talking to Jawas outside the sandcrawlers. Brilliant. Oh, there he is. I've got him mounted correctly now. Look at that. That I've just tucked underneath there. That is to stabilize it when you've got it in parked position. But look at that. I had him so he was going. I had him so he was balanced before. What a nightmare. So it was like, so he was like going down to the ground. But now, boom, look at that. Hooked. Line and sinker. Much better. So he's going on a parallel now. I like that. Really good. It's quite a long video, this, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a quick shot. I don't know what this is, but this is just an overview of going forward with this vehicle and this figure. Very nice. Thank you for watching. Only One Kenobi here. Only one. Out.